Okay, we're going to do compound interest today. Okay, the first thing we're going to look for is these letters here, A, P, R, N, T. Okay, so first we need to identify what the A is, what's the P, what do they all mean. So A is the total amount that you will have after you invest. Okay, P is your startup amount, or the amount you invest. Like if you were doing the Pinnacle Bank here and say you put like $50 in, that's your P, your startup amount. Okay, your R is rate, which basically is your percent, but we can't leave it as a percent, so we have to change it to a decimal. So to change it to a decimal, you have to move the decimal 2 places to the left. Okay, so that's what we're looking for the rate. The N is like, how is it compounded? Is it yearly, semi-annually, or it could be annually, the same thing. Let me put that up here. These mean the same thing. Is it monthly? Is it quarterly? Is it daily? Okay? And I'm going to go over these words now. Okay, so for your N, this is what's going to represent it. So if it's yearly, that means it's only one year. So for this one, N would equal 1. Okay, for semi-annually, or you could say biannually, that means N equals 2. Monthly, basically it's saying how many months in a year. So there's 12 months in a year, so monthly will be 12. If I say quarterly, you can think of it several ways. I like to think of it like quarters, how many quarters make $1, but N equals 4. Okay, daily, how many days in a year? 365. So that will be your N's. Okay, so you just have to look for that. Okay, your T is your time, and most people usually want it in years, so that's what you're going to look for. Okay, so we're going to look at our example that I have here, and this should be your first one on your WebQuest. Okay, so if somebody invests $12,000 at 8% for 5 years, I want to know how much money will I have yearly? How much money will I make? Okay, so let's first identify each of these letters here. So A is going to be the total amount that we invest. So here's how our formula should look. A equals P parentheses 1 plus R over N parentheses, and this is going to be the exponent, N parentheses T, or N times T, whichever one. And these are exponents, so they're up in the air. You have to hit the caret key to get up there. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my problem, and I'm going to find each one of them. So remember, P is my invest. That's what I invest. Okay, so P would be 12,000. So I'm going to put a P here. Okay, so the next letter I have is R. So we said R is your percent. So your R would be 8%. But remember, we got to change it to a decimal. So let me go ahead and do that. So if we have 8%, to change it to a decimal, we drop the percent. The decimal's in the back of the 8 since it's not there. And we got to move it 2 places to the left. 1, 2. Put your decimal, and then we got this little loopy-loop that doesn't have anything, so put a 0. So 0.08 is now our R. Okay? Okay, so now we got to find N. N tells me how is it compounded. Okay, so if you look here, here's one of our keywords, yearly. So our N, if we look here, yearly means 1. N equals 1. And then if we come over here, N is, we already have it. Now we need the T. T is the time, usually in years. So how many years was it? 5 years. So that will be my T. So this is kind of your first step, is to go ahead and label the A, P, R, N, and T. And then all we're going to do is plug in. So we're going to figure out what A is. Our P is what we started with. We invested $12,000. So I'm going to plug that in. The 1 comes down, plus we got our R, which is our rate, which is the decimal, 0.08, over our N. Our N was 1. Close your parentheses. We're going to have our caret key. Our N again was 1. And our T was the number of years of 5. Okay? So let me walk you through putting this in your calculator. So in your calculator, you're going to type 12,000, parentheses, 1 plus, and then you can do 0.08 divided by 1, close your parentheses, and then you're going to hit the caret key, and the caret key is right underneath the clear button, and it should take it up in the air with a little box blinking. Okay, parentheses 1, close your parentheses, parentheses 5, enter, and we should get, and think about this, we're investing money, so do not give me this long number after the decimal. So we're going to have to learn how to round, but I'm going to show you what the calculator gives you, because we are talking about money. And believe me, if I ask you how much money you have, you're not going to give me this big amount. You may give me $17,631, but you're not going to give me .93692. So we know money only goes 2 places after the decimal. So we're going to put a line at 3. And we got to see if the 3 is going to stay the same or go up. So remember, if it's 5 or higher, it goes up, the number behind it. So look, 6 is behind at 3, and it says go up 1. So the 3 goes up to a 4. Everything behind it goes away, and we bring down a 9 and everything else. So how much money, if we have invested $12,000 at a rate of 8%, how much will we make? Well, $17,631.94. Okay, so here's another example. So write this down. I think it's at the bottom of your web quest where it says $5,000 invested. Okay, so I have my A, P, R, N, and T on the side here to tell me what they are. So, and you can just disregard this. We're going to go through our problem and label each one of these. So we're looking for our P. What is our startup amount? What is our investment amount? So that will be $5,000. So that's going to be my P. Okay, we're looking for our R, the rate, the percent. So our rate is 5%, but remember, we have to change it to a decimal. So we drop the percent. There's no decimal here, so we know it has to be in the back. We're going to move it 2 places. 1, 2, and that's to the left. Put your decimal, add a 0 if there's nothing there. So our rate will be 0.05. Okay? Now we need our N. How is it compounded? Well, this one kind of gave it to us. It said it compounded annually. And we know annually means 1 year. So N equals 1. Okay, and then the last thing we need is the T. That means years. So how many years? Well, here it is, 3 years. So that's my T. Okay, so now I'm going to plug it into my formula. A equals P, parentheses, 1 plus R over N, close your parentheses, caret key, N, parentheses, T. Okay, so we have everything labeled, and all we're going to do is plug in. We're trying to figure out our total amount. A equals our P. What did we put in? 5,000. Parentheses 1 plus our rate. What's our R? 0.05. 0.05 over our N. And if you look here, N was 1. Close your parentheses. Caret key. Parentheses N is 1. T is the number of years, so we had 3. Okay, so let's put this in our calculators. Okay, so 5,000 parentheses 1 plus 0.05 divided by 1. Close your parentheses. The caret key right below the clear. Parentheses 1. Close your parentheses. Parentheses 3. Close them. Enter. And this is the number I got. But remember, this is money, so we always want to go 2 places. Okay? So I'm going to put it between the 2 and the 5. And I'm going to see if that 5 is going to make that 2 go up. So remember our rule, if it's higher, it's 5 or higher, it makes that number above it goes up. So the 2 becomes a 3. The 5 goes away. Bring everything else down. So our total amount will be $5,788.13. So now try the rest of the problems on the WebQuest.